Good evening, viewers, and welcome back to the Mokete Moetela show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments below. So today we'll be talking about abusive relationships. I'm just going to be answering, just to say, you probably know most of the things that I'm going to say, but based on the WhatsApp messages and phone calls that I've been getting, people seeking advice, what do I do? My friend is going through this, what must I do? So this show, or this episode, is going to address that. We're not going to go into much details. All right. So abusive relationships. Do you always see the sign? Did you see the sign? The answer is some people do see the signs from the beginning. And there are some people who don't see the signs because maybe the relationship rushed. You know, when you don't get to know a person to know the person long enough. So you just rush. 6 months down the line, you're getting married or you're moving in together. You didn't study the person enough, you know. Because the thing is, the main purpose of studying the person is to know if you can stand their weaknesses, if you can stand their tantrums, if you can stand whatever that is negative about them or not. Everyone has weaknesses and flaws. You stay in a relationship because you can handle that weakness or flaw. You're not going to get a person who's perfect, you know. So there are people who have anger. They can handle anger, you know. So if you haven't been in a relationship with them long enough to see them when they're angry, then, you know, you move too quickly. And it's not about seeing them when they're angry. It's actually about how do they handle the anger. That matters. That tells if a person is abusive or not. All right. So sometimes, I for one didn't even see the sign. My person was very gentle. And I'll tell you why sometimes we don't even see the signs. Okay, so what are some of the signs that you can see? Name calling. You know, people who call Batumabizo to me, that's a sign. That's actually for me a red flag. When a name calling person, for me, you're saying I must pay attention to you and your behavior. The minute I hear you calling people funny names, calling people makwerekwere, you know, the negative names, for me, it's a red flag to say I must watch you, honestly, because you must love people. And if you love people, you're not going to make fun of them, or you're not going to say bad things about them or such things, you know, things that will perpetuate hatred and xenophobic attacks and all that. Number two, the biggest sign number one, it's a slap. If they hit you, Gampama, that's the first sign they're abusive. You need to leave. You don't wait for the second slap or to be kicked. Trust me, every person who stayed in an abusive relation will tell you it started with a slap. So a slap, no matter how it's justified, it's the beginning. And no one, your partner will never agree and say, because I slapped you, I'm abused. No, they're going to say, no, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. But it happened, and they were very comfortable enough to feel like you deserve a slap. So just leave. And I tell you not, half of you listening to me now, and they've just slapped you yesterday or today, you're not going to leave. Like myself. So, Mina, it was a slap. And then we called intervention. I can't really know we're progressive because we know these things. We want to heal and all these things. So we get intervention. I'll never forget that guy. He's a good friend of mine today. So JC gets there. He's a pastor. He gets there. He says, a slap. And then we said, yeah. And he said, you know what? I think tonight you guys must separate, must move out. Like, what? He said, yeah, no, I don't want to hear further. Just move out and then work on this relationship living in separate houses. And I'm like, wait, how do you say that? He didn't even read the Bible verse, people. He said, just leave. You know, if it's comfortable enough to slap you, he's going to do it again. We were like, After he left, we're like, nah, baby man, I get sorry and I'm so convinced. I mean, that is extreme living. What will we tell people? You know, I mean, and it's not going to happen. So the same way you may not want to listen to me, you know, abusers, you want to be told 100 times before. People, I mean, the victims of abuse, they want to be told 100 times before they leave. That's how it is. We didn't leave. And then we had a number of counseling sessions with different pastors, changing pastors and all that. But the one who I will never forget, who told us the truth, was that guy. When JC said to us, separate tonight, when it had just happened, and go and seek help as individuals, and then come back when you are better individuals yourselves, then the relationship will work. We didn't do that, and I'm grateful to him. So the slap, what they say now, the comments that your partner makes, like I'm talking about now, the signs. Check what your partner says. There are a lot of events or incidents that are gender-based violence. What they're saying, that's another sign. No, she deserved it. That's why they beat him or beat her. She deserved it. Yeah, but honey, one day you are going to be trapped now. You are going to deserve it now. One day, that person is going to show you flames. That's how it works, So those are some of the signs. There's a lot of signs. Like for me, if you grab me on my arm tightly, for me, that's a sign that you want to control me. You don't want to give me freedom to move, whatever. That's a sign that one day you are going to grab me and push me around. Like, no, you don't do that. Number two, a person I'll push because you are talking, or maybe during an arguments will happen. They're healthy. In a conflict, there is a healthy conflict. I'm going to teach you about conflict in another episode. Then in that argument, they push you. Honey, that's the first sign. That's a red flag. A person must be able to manage a conflict without pushing you or harassing you. And that comes from a person wanting to be dominant over you, to show that I'm unable to handle this conversation. Now I want to be dominant and use my power so that you can feel me. I don't care how they justify it or think it's okay. It's not okay. They must get help. You guys must separate and go and fix yourselves as individuals. The victim must also know how to manage conflict. The other one must also be able to manage conflict, because it doesn't mean I go to the microphone first and say I'm a victim. Doesn't mean I can manage it better. But also it doesn't mean I deserve to be abused or pushed around. All right. So number two, abuse is abuse addictive. Is abuse addictive? I've always been asking myself this: is abuse addictive? Because I see people. What happened to my nail? It probably fell through the interview. I had a nail. I swear, I had a nail. I don't know. It's my nail. Anyway, so you guys. Anyway, so because people, the victims of abuse, tend to go back and go out and go back and stay, or move from one relationship to another, an abusive relationship to another, sometimes it looks like it is addictive. So I don't know if I should say yes or no. Also, I know that for me it's not addictive. I can't stand it. Like from the first sign, I know that it just makes me uncomfortable. So having gone through it doesn't mean I'm addicted to it. But now, here's the thing. You can be very assertive. You can be an advocate for gender-based violence, and talk out like I do. You can do this. You can move out of an abusive relationship and still find yourself in another abusive relationship. That's the thing, and how does it happen? Is it law of attraction? Are we too bruised at the subconscious level that we keep on attracting the same type of partners, but disguise, like you're still in the same relationship, but it's a different phase? I don't know. People who also have had parents who are in abusive marriages, they tend to also attract abusive partners. And they think it's okay. Is it because it's abusive or what? Is it law of attraction? We will have guests later who unpacks this. And I know Mashilo and I spoke about this. We are going to unpack it to say what happens psychologically, but is it abusive? You tell me based on what I just explained. But I also know that abusers, they don't stop. And I got this from my father. he told me that, this guy is beating you, ne? He's not going to stop. I'm a man, I know he's not going to stop. So if you want to leave, I'll help you carry the bags. It must come from you. But I tell you as a father, it never stops. So, and also through life experience, I realized that abusers actually don't stop. They just transform, according to me. They move from beating you, and then you get that protection order, ne? Or you move out. From the protection order, then it's no longer the beating. They just transform into another form of abuse, which can be verbal abuse or emotional abuse or whatever type of an abuse. Ne? But it doesn't just stop. A person cannot just say, I'll stop. Or they just go to a psychologist 3 times and then they stopped. I don't believe that. I've seen people do that. They're still abusive. They're still abusive in other forms. And it's very sad because the victim stays thinking, stop the beating. At least I don't have blue eyes anymore when I go to work, but you're scarred verbally, your dreams are being crushed, you're not supported and all that, you're being abused. Guys, it's not good, For me, first sign of abuse, just leave. Just choose yourself. Don't choose to help another person to be better when you're forgetting about yourself. Because we stay to help. We are mothers, we are nurturers. We help our children to grow, we incubate. So you want to use those instincts as a woman to say, I will help this person to be better and to stop abuse. They never stop. They just transform into something else. They will abuse, even if they abuse you sexually, they will abuse you. There are a lot of people who are crying after they stayed. You get my point? Men, in most cases, men who are being abused by women, they leave. I hardly see men who wait to be beaten 10 times, with blue eyes and what. Men choose themselves all the time. Men, and that's what I like about men. Are selfish. That's what I like about men. They're selfish. They choose only this for this incident, not all the time. I know that I like them all the time. No. I like the fact that when it comes to prioritizing themselves and choosing themselves, when it comes to abusive places, they do choose themselves. They pack their bags, they leave you, So I wish we can also do that. So as I wrap up, a friend of mine, actually 2 people, approached me after one of the interviews on abuse, and they said, a friend of mine is going through abuse. I'm telling them to leave. They're not. I feel like they'll go back. What must I do and whatnot? Oh, they asked me for money. In most cases, it's scary, man. Especially for women who are not working. You're a housewife, not by choice, but because he said, stay at home, I'll take care of you. But he was actually saying, when you are working, I can't control you, I don't have access to you, I can't do whatever I want to do on you because you'll be at work and people are going to empower you and whatnot. So they force you to stay at home and they abuse you. And then when you have to go now to leave the relationship, you are stranded. Why? Because you don't even have money. You don't know where you are going to go. You don't know people. You don't even know how to Google things. So, abusers disempower you. I'll tell you now. They don't empower people. They disempower you. When you have a dream, they sabotage it so that you don't. When you have friends, they want to control that sphere until you leave your friends. They stalk you. You say you're at a friend's place, they find the car outside waiting for you, even if they're not even waiting for you. When you come out, they drive away. They just want to make sure that they put you here. You don't go anywhere. You also don't have help, someone who will help you. They cut relationships because when they start like that, then you lose your friends. Then they make you feel like they want to be your only friend. Then family members who are vocal, they cut them, tell you, don't stay with people like that. They cut, they leave you with the weaklings. And then you stay with those people, then you're stranded. Now you don't have help. You want to get out, no one will help you. They like this thing, the architecture, it's so done very well. And then now, let's say I'm being abused and all this, I want to go out, you want better. And then now I call my friend, I say, okay, Sanda, listen, man, my man is beating me tonight. Then I send pictures to my friend. That's what we do. That's the cycle of abuse. Okay. Then you've got bruises. They send you pictures as a friend. Then friend, please give me money. I need to, get and leave this man in. You give them money, because when I grow back, you give them money, you give them a place to stay, and then tomorrow they go back. Number one, when a friend just tells you stories and excuses for the man, don't help. Another people that I value a lot is the people who are just honest with you. I will hate you for that moment because I'm down and then you are kicking me when I'm laying down. But this thing of giving them money, they're just going to go back. When a woman wants to leave, a woman will leave, and they will cry when they're out there to say, when I moved out, I just need a place to stay. They're not going to say, yeah, but we make excuses and we stay in these relationships. As a friend, tell them the truth. Leave and support the move to leave. Don't support the move just to stay and then they stay there forever because when you want to be seen as a good friend who is very supportive and all that. I, for one, you call me, I want to leave. Get you know what? You call me Hasomishia. They never leave. They go back. But a person who wants to leave will call you after they have left. So when you want to leave, be serious. Plan it properly. Have people around. Another person who helped me escape that night of terror, it was my friends. I still had those friends. Even today, I still have them. And they've always been honest with me. They told me, leave. That night, I knew that if I sleep here, I'm going to die. I buzzed them. They know that if I buzz them, imagine that life. They always knew that if I buzz them at night and they call me, I don't answer, they must not be in trouble. They must get me a cab. This is my address. The cab must be behind the house. Imagine living your life, maronal backup of escaping people. Abusive relationships, they're so wrong. But what I'm saying is, have a plan. These people, they don't want you to have friends and family because they know they will help you escape. Get out of abusive relationships. Friends, stop encouraging your friends to stay in this kind of relationships. Empower yourself. Plan your escape and live while you're still alive, not in a coffin. See you next time.